Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by Martha Dooley from Community Development. Then we'll talk to Todd Wenger about the new Heritage Park. We'll close out the program by talking with Rob Pileckis from the Prairie Center for the Arts. All this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The wait is over. Schaumburg's Farmers Market is back for another season, June 2nd. Martha Dooley, Senior Landscape Planner, is here to tell us about it. Tell us about it, Martha.
Well, it's nice to be back and to be able to talk about the Farmers Market again this year. We have a real exciting year coming up. Many of our vendors from last year will be returning, but we did have space for 5 new vendors. One of our new vendors is called Windmill Ginger Brew Company. It's a handcrafted ginger soda. They brought some samples over to the Village Hall when they first applied so we could see what the product was. And it's a very refreshing flavor, heavy on ginger flavoring and carbonated. So it's really an interesting product. It was, I think it's going to be good for the farmers market because it's a niche kind of type product.
How many farmers do we have there? How many market farmers do we have?
We have 5 farmers at the market that sell vegetables and fruits. And one of those farmers is strictly organic, so we're able to fill that need at the market as well. We also have new this year Waterfall Glen Soap Company, and they make an all-natural handcrafted soap.
Where are they from?
I believe they're in Western Illinois, but okay. I'm not sure. So, and they also make vegan skincare. Well, I think it's nice. It does reach out to the people that buy strictly organic products or vegan type products. So I think it's going to be a nice product.
Do we have many of those that come visit the market? Or?
Actually, in the past several years, we've had several people asking for organic farmers and some of these organic products. So I think it's going to be a great addition to the market this year, and we're looking forward to having them with us. We also have a company called Modest Coffee. They roast their own coffee beans, and they'll be at the market this year. And I think that that's a great addition as well, seeing as we are a morning market. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to them. And then I have one gal coming that makes fresh handcrafted fudge. And so
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, a lot of people will be interested in her booth. So I think all of these vendors are going to be great additions to the farmers market, and they help expand the variety of products that we're selling there. So,
what's the furthest traveled by some of these folks?
I think our furthest vendors come from Michigan, and they're primarily our fruit growers, especially the blueberries and the peaches, and they come from, I would say, 150 miles away, something like that. And our cut flour vendor comes from Momence, Illinois, so he's a little bit on the far side as well.
Okay. And the vendors that show up, I mean, what do they like about Schaumburg's Farmers Market?
They love the atmosphere of the market. It's a really light atmosphere out there with the entertainment that we have scheduled. And
tell me about the entertainment.
Okay, so we have a harpist that comes and performs a couple times a year. We have a string duet, and that comes once, and then another time a duet comes with violin or viola and piano. So we're looking forward to that this year. We also have folk singers that come, and we're trying a new artist this year that's a little bit more pop music. He's a young kid, really, I think younger than 20, and he's local. And I listened, he just inquired about the market, so I went on YouTube and listened to a sample of his music, and I was very impressed with him. So we're going to try him this year and see how that works out at the market. How
many musicians do you have?
Probably about 5 that come throughout the year. We also, the U of I Cooperative Extension Service Master Gardeners come. They're pretty much there every other week, and they answer lots of questions.
How long have they been coming to the market?
This will be their 3rd year, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, 2nd or 3rd year.
How does this compare? How does our market compare to some of the other markets in the region?
Well, ours has been a very strong market that's been consistent over the years. I've been to some markets in other locations in Lake County where they were going gangbusters, but for some reason now they're not as strong as they were before. And I can't quite put my finger on what it is about Schaumburg's market that makes it so good, except that it's a great location. The density of the population nearby is really great. There aren't a lot of other farmers markets on Friday mornings, so that's, I think, helpful for ours. And we truly have a great mix of vendors. And we're not combining a craft show or a flea market type atmosphere with our farmers markets. It's really
produce.
Yeah, it's really a traditional kind of farmers market, and I think that helps.
Well, what's the history of the farmers market in Schaumburg? You know, who thought up that brilliant idea to bring it here?
It started in Town Square years ago, and then
Scar, the pharmacist.
That's right, and then I know it moved to an old bus parking lot that was here, well, now decades ago.
Yeah.
Then it moved over to St. Peter Lutheran Church, and it's been at the Town Square for over 10 years. Okay. So it's been there a long time. There's lots of parking there, so people really like that. The hours of the market are good. They're 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we do see customers that stop by in the morning before they go to work. And then also they'll come at lunchtime and have, there are freshly made on-site veggie burgers. I have a new vendor this year coming called Cocina Azteca, and they'll be making tamales and tacos and things like that on site. In addition, we have the crepe vendor who makes some delicious crepes for people that want to come for lunch or breakfast. So those things tend to draw people at different times than we used to have.
What kind of crowds do you have?
During the peak of the summer, we'll have about 900 to 1,000 people at the market. And then early in the year, when kids are still at school, it's a little bit lighter, and same thing happens in the fall. But we go through the end of October. We'll be selling a lot of apples and pumpkins, Indian corn.
And that's like kind of seasonal, though, isn't it? The market, certain aspects of it are in spring and
right,
and later on in the year, you know.
Yeah, we require that all of our products have to be grown or produced by the person that's selling them. So it does make ours more of a seasonal market. You know, we certainly wouldn't see people selling strawberries in October,
right?
You know,
right.
because there isn't
strawberry
strawberry
right out of the freezer, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that does.
But what happens when you discovers these scofflaws? These, you know.
We have had some inquiries in the past about products that may not be homegrown, and so we have gone out and inspected farmers' fields and checked that out to make sure that they are growing the crop. And we've never found an instance where the farmer or the vendor wasn't producing their own product.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing for them, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to say that something is yours when in fact it isn't. So. What
kind of fruits do you bring? You mentioned blueberries, I think, and
strawberries, blueberries, apples, pears, peaches.
What kind of
plums.
Apples?
Oh, I'll bet you there's 10 or 12 different varieties of apples.
Yeah.
Just all these, just bins and bins of apples. We do have one vendor that brings some cranberries from Michigan.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting a little bit later in the year. And I think that you won't see any pineapples or any bananas or anything like that at our farmers market. They're tropical.
Yeah, so they're not grown locally either.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, for the coffee vendor, obviously they're not growing their own coffee, but they are involved in roasting it themselves. And so because they are involved in the production of their product, they're considered to be an eligible vendor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Martha, another great year, hopefully,
yeah.
for the market, and certainly with your help, it'll be that great. A new park is opening in Schaumburg. Learn more next on Speaking of Schaumburg. The corner of Brazil and Schaumburg Roads is home to a new park, Heritage Park. Here to tell us about it is landscape and design planner ToTodd Wenger. Well, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, ToTodd.
Thanks for having me today.
You've been here before, haven't you?
A few times, yes.
Tell us about this new park and what it's all about.
Sure. So the park was sort of generated out of our 1% for Art committee. We're looking for a way to redevelop the corner, which used to be the Marathon lot, the old gas station at the northwest corner of Schaumburg and Roselle Roads, was something that would celebrate the historic district, the old Schaumburg Center district that it's within, as well as something to set off our 60th anniversary, which was last year, trying to honor some of our former folks who lived here and some of the past history of Schaumburg.
Who are these folks? I mean, I know we've got pictures on the ramp coming into the Village Hall on the east entrance. Can we expect to see some of that there? I mean, what?
Some of the same photos, yes, Mayor. It's Photos of some of the historic buildings that are around town. For instance, the turret house that was built by Louis Menke and some of his builders that he had hired.
He was the carpenter, wasn't he?
He was the carpenter to have. If you lived in Schaumburg and you wanted an exquisite home that was finely crafted, you hired Louis Menke.
Yeah, yeah. You got pictures of him with his crew.
Pictures of him with his crew laying brick, yep. Very neat. Old photo, probably from about the early teens or 20s.
How many images do you have there?
We have 5 that face Schaumburg Road, right at the corner. A very large central one that you'll be able to see actually from the intersection from the turn of the century, the previous century. So it shows it back when it was a dirt road, and there's a old Model A in the picture, and you're looking south on Roselle Road. At the intersection, you can just see the Lou Malnati's building as it was back then.
How do you make it visible, and how do you make it something where people want to see?
So it's kind of an interesting process that we use to develop the photos that are going to be appearing on the walls. So we took old historic photos, both from the postcard series that was done in the 19-teens, 20s, and we're able to digitize those, clean them up a little bit, and then they're going to be digitally printed using inks on porcelain tiles. Those tiles will be glazed and put up on the wall. All small 4x4 tiles or 6x6 tiles that'll all be adhered to the wall, but it has really good photographic quality images that'll be embedded onto these tiles. So these tiles will be, of all these different historic views of Schaumburg from early on, and they will be able to be viewed both from the roadway, some of the larger ones you'll be able to see as the motorists drive through this intersection, as well as pedestrians will be able to come through the new Pleasant Square development from the north or from Schoolhouse Square shopping center to the west. You could park, you can walk through. Pedestrians are encouraged to come through the park and view them. We'll have informative plaques that'll tell you what the pictures are and what they're representing, and a little bit about Schaumburg's history for each one of them.
Yeah, for those who don't realize it, Schaumburg was a vibrant agricultural community around the turn of the last century. They had weddings there for miles and miles around from farmers, and it was quite an area.
Yeah, a lot of the photos themselves are of some of that early rural sort of agricultural background. A granary that used to be south on Roselle Road, the old buttery building, and some of the other farm, supporting the farm businesses that were around.
The turret house?
Turret house is certainly on there as well, yep.
What's your favorite?
My favorite would probably be some of the early farm photos. We have a couple of the Redekers are out in the peony farms. As we know, the Redeker farms used to grow peonies and lilacs and sell them to the trade. And we know that eventually became what's Spring Valley today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because they got horses and tell us some more here. Todd,
Yeah, so there was there's Herman Schrage and his squeeze box. That's a really nice old photo of him. It was very popular pastimes for the farmers and the folks of early Schaumburg to
do they have
music.
that picture of the one iconic picture of the parade?
Yes, there's a Columbus Day parade,
Yes,
right?
yes.
With all of the, or a lot of the residents at the time on horseback with these large flags and very patriotic.
It's running west, right? Or is it east? Running east from town center. Yeah.
Right, yeah, it looks like it's, it's very hard to tell because it's so early on. The roads were dirt at that time, but it looks like the parade is progressing east from.
Well, it's interesting that they would choose Columbus Day to celebrate. You think it might be Christopher Columbus and the parade is something else. Is people riding horses, and they've got those helmets, the spiked helmets.
Yes, large Prussian helmets and these gigantic flags, all in full sort of regalia on horseback.
Now there's some explanation given to each of these iconic figures, is there not?
Yeah, so we have signs that describe what's taking place, what the pictures are representing, and how it relates to early Schaumburg history. So
it ought to be something that should be popular for school kids, little side trips to take a look and see what Schaumburg was all about so many years ago.
Yeah, we encourage people to come out once they're up to take a look at them and learn a little bit more about Schaumburg's history.
Now, when is this going to happen? I mean, part of that wall has been there for a couple of months now.
Yeah, the walls were constructed in late fall, and the temperatures weren't right to put up the tiles until this spring, and the tile work is actually starting today. So we'll start to see those go up, and the interpretive signs that will help explain the pictures will be going up later in June.
Well, Todd,
thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for doing the fine work you do on that Heritage Park site.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's something that people are going to come from all over to take a look at. Check out what's on the playbill this summer next time, Speaking of Schaumburg. The performing arts will be in full swing this summer. Rob Pileckis is here to tell us about upcoming performances. Well, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, Rob.
Thank you for having me again.
Tell us about the shows.
Oh man, we got so much. Well, you know, summer already started at the Prairie Center. We just had our wonderful fine arts show, the Prairie Arts Festival. And
I think I saw you there.
I was there. I can't resist it because they have the food trucks there, which I can't stay away from the food trucks. They're great. But also over 120 artists, live entertainment. It was last weekend. If you missed it, come back next year. It's always over Memorial Day weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it's a great event. So we're done with that. Summer is starting. We're going to be a little quiet for June, but we're going to kick it up in July with our Summer Breeze concert series.
Really?
Yes.
Where's that happen?
We do that on the grounds of the Robert O. Atcher Municipal Center, right in just outside the Prairie Center. We have a beautiful outdoor stage. It's about 3 years old now. And we had one for some time, but it needed a revamp. So we built from ground up our new stage. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a free festival, or excuse me, free outdoor concert series in July and August. So our first one is July 8th.
And who's coming?
It's Semple. It's Keith Semple. He's a big regional star. He was on, I think he was on one of the competition shows, The Voice or something like that. Great voice. And he'll be here playing a whole bunch of oldies and songs from the 80s and 90s and even today. And the Summer Breeze concert series is free. Doesn't cost anything to go. It starts at 7 o'clock for 3 Saturdays in July, 3 Saturdays in August. You can bring picnic baskets. You can bring food. We also have some food vendors there. So it's a great time.
What kind of turnout do you have for those?
Big, very large turnout. We can get up to 1,500 people. Thankfully, the grounds are pretty big. So we tell people they can bring blankets or lawn chairs, any kind of setup they want to do. The spreads that these people come with, the patrons come with, are pretty incredible. We'll see like major banquets set up outside on the grounds. It's very tempting
I
to
would
just
think
want
that
to grab something.
requires some inspection, don't you think?
Well, I certainly inspect it. Yeah.
What else do we have out there?
Okay, so we've got, let me just go through the run-through for the summer. We have Semple, which is going to be July 8th, and it's every Saturday then after that at 7 o'clock, and it's free. No ticket, just show up. And if it does rain, we try to go inside the Prairie Center. Sometimes we've had to cancel if it just starts raining right during the performance. We don't have time to move in, but it's always a good idea to go online to our website to find out. There's also Trop Explosion on July 15th. Steel drum music. You like steel drum music?
Yes, I do, matter of fact.
You get the island feel when you hear it?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
My feet start tapping.
Oh, yeah. It's great stuff. So that's on the 15th. And then we have Deacon Blues, Steely Dan tribute music. So that's a band that plays all Steely Band music. And then we go inside, and I'll come back to that later on because we have some good stuff going on inside. August 12th, we have The Moods, R&B vocalist.
They've been out before. They're great.
Party band. Just fantastic. Great R&B group. And then Eagles fans. I'm sure we have a lot of Eagles fans.
I'm an Eagles fan.
Okay, you're an Eagles fan. There's gonna be a heartache tonight. That's one of their songs. Yes. Well, the band is called A Heartache Tonight. I apologize for singing on your show. I really shouldn't
you
do
sing
that.
well.
A Heartache Tonight is August 19th. Eagles tribute. A lot of great songs. Hotel California, you know that one.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then we round up like we do every year with the Symphonic Pops Orchestra, Maestro Frank Winkler and the
yes.
Symphonic Pops.
Now, the cost of this is borne by the village and the park
And the
district.
Schaumburg Park District, they are a co-sponsor. The Park District and the village have teamed up for, gosh, I want to say almost 30 years doing this. And it really is one of the most popular summer events out here in Schaumburg. People just love it.
And we make certain that it does not rain,
And we make certain it does not rain.
mostly.
They have a wonderful MC, that program.
They do.
Oh,
They
who
do.
introduces the acts? Oh, he's just amazing. You should.
Is there some kind of
check him
raffle
out.
that
You know, we have our, that's taken off over the past few years. We have our Split the Pot raffle, which is you buy a ticket. It's a one, all the money that's raised up gets split down the middle. Half of it goes to one winner, the other half goes to whoever's sponsoring it that night. It could be the Schaumburg Youth Orchestra, it could be a summer theater program, it could be the Park District, but we've had people go home with $600, you know? Yeah. More than once. We've had multiple winners on our night, so it's a great, and a good way to raise money for these great programs.
Kind of lakeside views too, you know.
Beautiful grounds. The grounds look prettier every year, I think. We've got the lake right by us. You can see Lewis and Serena, our swans. We have the Waking Muse statue that the kids love to play on. It really is a wonderful summer event. Now, let me talk about what's going on inside. If you
What's
don't
going
mind.
on inside, right?
Well, we have our Schaumburg Summer Theater program.
Summer theater in Schaumburg.
Summer Theater in
What
Schaumburg.
could be better than summer theater in Schaumburg?
Absolutely nothing. It's our 29th annual production. I've been fortunate enough to be the coordinator and director of it since its inception back in 1989. I was a pup. I was a kid back then.
You're still a pup.
Oh,
right?
well, gosh, thank you so much. But this year we're going to go kind of dark. We're going to be putting on Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, huh?
Uh-huh.
What's the premise on Sweeney Todd?
Well, this is a family show.
If you're going to frighten people, frighten them up front.
Sweeney Todd is a barber who was falsely imprisoned, and he comes back to seek his revenge on the people who did it. So he opens up a barber shop, and he does away with certain elements of the city, but rather than getting rid of the bodies, he finds a partner to dispose of them in a very creative manner.
Yes, and that
It's
would be
Mrs. Lovett. Well, she runs a meat pie shop and would hate to see this meat go to waste, shall we say? So
This is Sondheim. This is Sondheim.
this is a Stephen Sondheim show, and it is a fantastic show. I mean, it's got it's almost operatic. You know, it's one of his most ambitious shows, I think, and it's a dark show, but it's
Sing
got
just a
lot
little bit.
Nothing's gonna hurt you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Demons and I can't remember the words. La la everywhere, la la la, la la la.
Almost.
If I was a voice soprano, I'd do like
almost.
But it's got great songs, and we have over 70 people in the cast. Huge production.
What kind of talent do you have?
Great talent. We've got students. It's a high school and college program. So we've got kids who are actually anyone who's under 25 years old is eligible. So we have some college students, we have a couple grad students, and we have a lot of high school students. And it's actually very competitive. When you get over 70 people trying out, you're going to get some very strong voices vying for the top roles. And that's what we get, and that's what we're proud of, is to really highlight this. Not just highlight the featured talent, but to highlight everyone who's in the show. It's a team production. It's a team effort, and we love to just entertain audiences together like that.
Yeah. What are some of the past shows?
Oh gosh, we've done it all after all these years. Guys and Dolls, Damn Yankees. I've done a couple of Marx Brothers shows. I've done the Pirates of Penzance. I've done Oklahoma. I've done How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. It goes on, everything.
Brigadoon?
Everything. We've done Brigadoon. We've done Anything Goes. We've done Kiss Me Kate. Anything from old shows to some newer shows. This is one of the more contemporary shows we do. We like to do the oldies. So we've done No No Nanette. T for two and two
for tea.
Yeah.
And me for you.
That's right.
And you
from
for me.
1925, I believe. So
Almost past my time.
Well, it's an oldie. It's an oldie. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's Summer Theater. That's the end of July, July 28th and 29th, and then also August 4th and 5th.
7 o'clock sharp.
7:30 for the Summer Theater shows.
7:30.
And people just go to prairiecenter.org and buy tickets for that, or call us at 847-895-3600. It's going to sell out. Very popular show. I think it's going to do very well. So people would be their best advice is to buy your tickets early
And
as
often.
early as possible. Early and often. So, are we out of time?
Robbo,
We're done?
we're done. We be three.
And check out Suburban Chicago's Got Talent. That's coming up soon, too.
Let's hear it.
Suburban Chicago's Got Talent?
Yes, quickly.
That's auditions are coming up in June. Performances through June and July. The best singers and talent in the Northwest suburbs and beyond. Check it out. Daily Herald is sponsoring it. Check out the Daily Herald to tell you all about it.
Thank you, Robbo.
All right, thank you.
That'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.